Your phone back crowd.
See, it makes it so clear. Okay, I think we're live.
We are.
I'm not too sure. Are we live? Can you see us? Can everyone hear us?
Yes.
Yes, I think we are. Okay, I've got the go ahead from the team. It looks like we're live. Right, guys. Wow, we're here.
We're here.
We're here. We're here. We are super, super, super excited. This is
Wow. Wow.
What do we even say?
So overwhelmed.
We just want to start off by saying thank you so much for tuning in and for joining us on today's online event. We've been preparing for this for a really, really long time. We will have a really, really amazing time today going through the statistics. We've got live performances. We've got everything. It all. We've got panels. We've got it all. But we're going to start off by introducing ourselves. Chloe, do you want to go first?
Okay, so my name is Clotilde Rebecca Abbey, but I'm mostly known as Chloe. I'm a mum of two. I have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, both boys. So I'm the founder of Prosperities. Prosperities is a maternal wellbeing social enterprise which is designed to support Black and South Asian women in Southwark and Lambeth, and it's all free. We do peer-to-peer support, small gathering, and we also do events on mental health. I am also the co-chair of Lambeth and St. Thomas MVP, which stands for Maternity Voice Partnership. So we support St. Thomas's and Lambeth maternity services, and we help co-design services for them. To look at.
So you're qualified. You're more than qualified, right? Amazing. I'm Tineke. I'm mummy to 4-month-old Eden, who's in the background, who she will definitely pop up at some point today. I'm also mummy to 3-year-old Ezekiel. And his birth is kind of part of the reason why I started 5 times more, but I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But yes, what I do, I run Mums and Tea, which is what do? We do everything. We do everything. We're a mummy platform. We do events on and offline. I've got a podcast. I've got YouTube. I've got blog. I kind of do everything. Mainly for young mothers, young Black mothers, but anyone can obviously join. But yes, that's it. That's the niche. We're a network of young Black mothers. And in my day job, I'm on maternity leave. Obviously, I've just had Eden. Slap bang in the middle of the pandemic, can I just add? I had her in April. But yes, my day job, I work in HR, in professional services. So that's a little bit about me. Do you want to know about 5 times more?
Yeah.
Of course, because there's going to be people on here who
don't know about 5
times more. If you don't know, where you been? But yeah, no, sorry, we're very...
So how did the campaign start then?
Gosh, oh yes.
How did it start?
Right. How did it start and then what it is? So it started, like I said, I didn't have a good experience with my son's birth. And back in 2017. And because I run Mums and Tea, my experiences of basically, in a nutshell, not being listened to, not feeling like my pain was being taken seriously, and just overall just feeling like, like I just wasn't being heard. The window of opportunity for like pain relief being missed and me having to like labor alone and just all of that kind of thing was echoed a lot with mothers that I spoke to in my community. So when I heard the MBRRACE report come out in 2018, the year after, I was very, very shocked, but I wasn't surprised. And it was like, what's going on here? What is actually happening? So I joined forces with Rebecca because obviously she does Prosperities. And I was like, well, I've got this platform and you've got all this knowledge. Why don't we join forces and see what we can do? Because looking back, Black women have had a higher risk of maternal mortality for decades. And I'll try and put it into context. And I'm showing my age here, but hey, it is what it is. I was born in 1991. And when my mum gave birth to me, according to these reports, and obviously doing my research, she, as a Black woman, had a higher risk of maternal mortality, but not enough data was collected by that point for them to say what it was. So you fast forward through the report, so you see 1994, 1998, you see the numbers are steadily rising. It's not going down, it's actually increasing. So you see it going 2, 3, 3.5, and now it's 5 times more. Black women in the UK are 5 times more likely to die during pregnancy and childbirth. So we set up 5 times more. What is 5 times more?
So 5 times more is a CIC. We are a registered social enterprise, and we are set up to highlight and change the disparities in Black women's health.
Amazing. And just to point out as well, we obviously, this is a 3-hour-long event, so we'll be looking down because we just want to make sure that we are getting all the necessary information. So if you see us looking down, we're not ignoring you, we're just going to make sure that we've got our script on point. So yes, we are a CIC. We take our statistics, like I said, from the MBRRACE 2018 and 2019 report, and this shows us that Black women are 5 times more likely to die during pregnancy and childbirth and the postpartum period after. I think it's up to 6 weeks.
Yeah, 6
weeks. Up to 6 weeks. But yet we only account for 4% of births, which something doesn't quite add up. And at this point, what we would like to say is that the UK has one of the lowest maternal mortality rates in the world. So our campaign is actually not designed to scare any pregnant women. Any pregnant woman watching right now, we don't want to scare you with this statistic because the UK actually has a really, really low rate. However, what we want to do is make sure that we are highlighting the disparity in who is dying. Like I said, we're 5 times more likely to die as Black women, but we only account for 4% of births. Something just isn't quite right. So with 5 times more, what we've done is we've set up an awareness week. We were established in 2019.
Yeah.
And now we've gotten to a point where we're like, right, we want an awareness week. We want to put this, we want to further, exactly.
More needs to be done.
We want more. We want to push this further out into, into the public sphere, and we want answers, So
what's the awareness week called? So we decided to launch the UK's first Black Women's
Maternal Health Awareness Week.
Bit of a mouthful.
That is such, we always struggle to get that right, but it's a mouthful, but it's worth it, totally worth it. And within this week, it started on Wednesday. We have a day of action every day. Every day we've got something. So on Wednesday, when we launched, that was celebrating Delissa Park's 31st birthday, and we will obviously be telling you more about her story throughout the event. Thursday, what do we do?
We heard from Black women and their experiences because it was Patient Safety Day that WHO created.
Yeah, WHO created World Patient Safety Day.
Yeah.
So we heard from Black women's experiences. And yesterday we had a day of action. So we asked people to take their 5 times more selfie. Wow, that was in sync.
I know.
5 times more selfie, and to also write a letter to their MPs. And today we've got our online fundraising event. Yes. So actually what we wanted to do is to officially launch our campaign for fundraising, our public campaign for fundraising. So if you look right now on the YouTube, the link is below. And we've got a Just Giving page. And we're hoping to raise money for 3 specific causes, which are
to amplify our voices and experience. When I mean our voices, I mean Black women's voices and experience, to ensure we're able to empower Black women and for them to make informed choices.
Amazing. We want to rebuild. We want to support 2 family foundations that have been deeply affected by these statistics, the Delissa Parks Christina Foundation and Beyond Strength. We will be hearing more from them during this evening.
So we want to help the disparities by undergoing multi-phase projects to investigate maternal outcome and the experience of Black women and who give birth in the UK.
Fantastic. So the link is below. Please share it on all your socials and hashtag 5 times more AW20, 5 times more 100K. Yay, amazing. So what to expect? We've got some special guest performances, we've got panels, and we've got a motherhood panel, and we've got a health professional panel as well. And we'll also be hearing from mothers and their experiences during the day as well, or during the evening, should I say.
Also, you can also write us messages, questions. We really want to interact with you, so don't be afraid. You know, it's a live chat, write questions, and we'll answer your questions as well.
Yes, yeah, that's true, actually. There should be a live chat somewhere on the YouTube. Write all your questions and comments on there, and we'll get those through, and we'll try to answer them as the day and the evening is going along. I keep saying day, it's not a day, it's actually evening. But yes, so we'll have important messages from some people that are supporting us and endorsing the campaign, excuse me, throughout the evening as well. And actually, we're going to start off with some of them right now.
Hello, my name's Eddie Morris, and I'm President of the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. In the UK, Black women are 5 times more likely to die in pregnancy and childbirth than white women, and I'd be grateful if you would support the 5 times more campaign in their efforts to highlight and address this disparity by either taking a selfie, signing their petition, or supporting them by donating to their cause. Thank you.
Black women are 5 times more likely to die in pregnancy and childbirth. My name is Jill Walton, and I'm the Chief Executive of the Royal College of Midwives. I really support the work the 5 times more campaign is doing to highlight and change this statistic and outcomes for Black women. Please support them by taking a selfie and doing all you can to champion positive change for pregnant Black women. Thank you.
Black women are 5 times more likely to die in pregnancy and childbirth. My name is Kate Brinkworth, and I'm the Regional Chief Midwife for London, and I support the work the 5 times more are doing to highlight this awful statistic and to improve the outcomes for Black women. I encourage you to visit their website at 5timesmore.com to understand their work better and how you can contribute to making a change. Thank you.
We'd just like to thank Ed, Jill and Kate for your special message of support. Thank you.
So right now we want to introduce our first guest, which is Natalie Anastasia Poetry. She will be giving us a special piece, which I just think is absolutely beautiful. Please tune in and show her some support. And then after that, we'll be hearing from Delissa Park's mother, Sylvia, who is the founder of the Delissa Christina Parks Foundation. She'll be sharing her story, why she set up the foundation, and we'll also have some more special messages. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Natalie Anastasia, and I am a performance poet, a community development worker, and a workshop facilitator. And I'm just going to be performing a few short pieces for you here from Leeds. And they're really a series of poems about heritage, about family, and about Black beauty and brilliance. So the first one is called Filters and Flaws. And it was actually greatly inspired by a conversation that I had with Tina Kay, which was about kind of instilling confidence in your children and helping them to see that they are Black and beautiful. And so here it is. Little Black girl chases butterflies and freckles. They flutter and manifest in tinted dreams, carry incandescent prayers to a white God. A prayer for flawless beauty, the contours of her insecurity chiseled into cheekbones. Her shyness powdered into blush, completed with golden freckles. In a blink, she is wearing someone else's eyes, azure and piercing. All at once she is moulded, edited, fixed, illuminated. The butterflies are grotesque, exposed in any morsel of natural light we see, they are sketched, from thick eyeliner and broken dreams, too shaded, too heavy to fly. As for God, this God is a white God. This God is the epitome of God. He too wears the eyes of a martyr. It is all beautifully Hitleresque, but no one has cared to notice. Little black girl strains out her impurities, endlessly separating self-love from self. This relentless filter crafted by some undivine red right hand. She does not yet know the colour, but you do. Some say there is a little black girl in all of us, but ever stripped and moulded, we have forgotten how to see her. Thank you. So that was my first poem named Filters and Flaws. And the next poem that I'm going to read to you is called Grandmother. And it is really an exploration of identity and paying homage to the culture that we come from and those that have come before us. And it's very short, but I hope you enjoy it. A place I have never known. She carries it with her. Her hands are my hands, light-skinned, length of nail, painted now. I gaze into her, look into her face. Unknowingly, she is soft and sullen. We travel together, her hand in mine, a frequent moment between us. And I realize in this moment that I can only guess what she carried with her when she crossed Caribbean shores, stepped aboard to grace English soil. I close my eyes and attempt to see her, imagine what she carried for her journey. A petticoat, a lace gown, a mound of memories, a touch of faith, Grenadian grace, a firm grip and the sea sway within her hips. I open my eyes, hold her hand a little tighter, and choose to ask. So that was Grandmother. And this last poem, I think, that I'm going to perform is called Elder Tea. And again, it is really about family and the beauty of family and memories being passed along, and along with that, our heritage and our culture. Take a walk on a dry summer's day. Take time to visit the elder tree. Observe it in the height of its blossom. Pick its delicate flowers one by one. Each petal holds a story. Each story holds a memory. Bathe the wet petals in warm appreciation. Soak in their ethereal wisdom. Know that the flower's essence is never truly lost. You will carry it with you. Know that the winter will come, and when all of the petals have fallen, berries will grow in their place. Embody the sweet and subtle essence and breathe a little deeper. Thank you. I hope you've enjoyed those few poems there. So yeah, again, they're really just about family and culture and being grateful for those that have come before us. I hope that, you know, in raising children, especially Black boys and girls, that will go on to kind of carry on our family like traditions and heritage and help our children in today's world to feel proud of who they are. So thank you very much for listening, and thank you for joining us.
Hello, my name is Sylvia Parks. My daughter, our daughter Delissa, died in childbirth on the 8th of October 2015. She was 26 years old. Her baby daughter Soraya survived, but with severe brain injury caused by the birth. Delissa had a fairly normal pregnancy. She did all her life suffer with condition, constipation. It became worse during the pregnancy. She presented at the hospital on the 7th of October 2015 in severe pain. She was examined and sent home as she was just 1 centimetre dilated, and they told her that if every person came in at 1 centimetre, and they kept them in, the hospital would be full. Despite the fact that baby's head was high and free, which should have alerted them to the fact that something was wrong, we later on learned that the reason for sending her home was that black women's pelvises were different than white women's. So therefore, it was not uncommon for baby's head to be high in the early stages of labour. Coroner at the inquest into her death questioned that, and early stages of labour, baby's head should descend down into the pelvis. At the time, I didn't think anything of it, but the hospital investigation did show that there was a lack of care, in her pregnancy, and things could have been done differently. So we know that Soraya could have been saved from her birth injuries, and that is one of the hardest things that we have to deal with right now. Cause of Delissa's death was an embolism. The embolism was caused when they gave Delissa an emergency cesarean. There was a clot sitting behind baby. When they removed Soraya, the clot moved to her lungs, and she suffered with numerous cardiac arrests, heart attacks that day, and she subsequently died later the night. This is one of the hardest things that we've ever had to deal with in life, and as a family we are really suffering for it. Delissa was our 4th child of 7. She's left a great hole in our lives, and we have Soraya that we have to be the parents to. It's been a very hard and difficult time for us. It's so hard to see our other grandchildren running around, and Soraya's not able to do the things that they do. It's really hard because we have to be everything to Soraya. We can't be there for our other children and our grandchildren. It's been a difficult time for us, physically, emotionally, and financially. It's been really tough. I'd just like to highlight that I didn't even realise that, this thing was real, It's since Delissa's death that I'm hearing more and more stories that, of women, especially black women, that are dying during childbirth. And it's absolutely been an eye-opener. On the 1st anniversary of Delissa's death, we launched a foundation in her name because I just felt that we had to be doing something. Her life had to stand for something. Somebody, somewhere, needed to be helped from what had happened to her, or any way that we can reach out to somebody. That is what the foundation is really for. So the Delissa Christina Princess Foundation is a foundation that we raised in honor of our daughter. We raised it, even though we raised it 4 years ago now. It's been tough. Life has been tough, so we haven't really been able to move it along or to get things going, because we've been fighting for Soraya's care and her health, and because that is still a fight. Her mum's gone, and we have to be her voice. So we are now looking forward to move on with the foundation. You know, we now have the help and care that Soraya needs. We're hoping that life is going to get a little bit easier. We're hoping that the foundation will now, you know, reach into its purpose, and which is to help people, mothers, in pregnancy, to give advice, to be able to listen, to be able to help them, you know, in any aspects of their care. We also think we're being drawn towards helping children with disabilities in Jamaica, which is Delissa's birthplace. So we'd like to reach out to the children of Jamaica. We'd like to do it through the foundation. It's been really tough. It's been really hard. It's been really a difficult journey. We're living in a place that doesn't even believe in children, dare I say, Black children with disabilities. We're fighting hard for her care, all aspects of her health care. But I think we're ready now to move on and to go on and to give Delissa's death a purpose. So I just want to thank 5 times more for helping us, for for if not kicking us into touch, you know, to help us to get this foundation going. And so 5 times more thank you for the opportunity that you've given us. Thank you for all the work that you're doing. We know that this thing is real, and we know that it's real because it's happened to us. So thank you.
Hi, my name is Karen Josh. I'm a consultant that works at Imperial College NHS Healthcare Trust, and I'm in support of the 5 More campaign, 5 times more. That's the statistic for Black women in terms of dying in childbirth, and it's something that we need to act upon now, and I'm very much in support of the 5 More campaign. This is something that just doesn't affect only Black communities, it affects us all. It affects us in the terms of the loss of life and the resultant impacts on everyone, everywhere in the system. Therefore, I'm just encouraging you to retweet, to support by donating to this campaign. Let's end the statistic of 5 more.
Did you know Black women are 5 times more likely to die in pregnancy and childbirth? My name's Gabby and I work for Lee Day. We are in support of all the work that the 5 times more campaign is doing to help change this statistic and offering better outcomes for Black women. To help, please post a selfie sharing their 6 recommendations and donate to their fundraising campaign. Thank you.
Black women in the UK today are 5 times more likely to die in pregnancy and childbirth. My name is David Harewood and I'm in support of all the work the 5 times more campaign is doing to highlight and change this statistic and outcomes for Black women. Please support them by taking your selfie, spreading the word of their 6 recommendations, and donating to their fundraising campaign. Thank you.
Okay, can everybody hear us okay? Okay, amazing. So we heard from Delissa Parks' mum. Thank you so much, Sylvia, for
giving us the permission.
Yeah.
To, you know, talk about your daughter and raise awareness. Thank you for sharing with us.
Yeah.
You know, we can't imagine what you're going through, what you've been through and what it's like, but we're just hoping that we're able to raise awareness in Delissa's name.
Yeah, we are always passionate about highlighting the fact that there are real people behind these statistics.
Yeah.
And also just thank you for sharing that with us. We are about to go into our health professional panel, but before that, we also wanted to quickly give you trigger warnings to let you know that we will be speaking about maternal mortality, our experiences, and traumatic experiences, birthing experiences. So that will kind of go on throughout the night. So just to give you a heads up. But we can see that a lot of you are saying hello in the chat. A lot of you are interacting with us, which is amazing. We just wanted to say a quick hello.
Before we do that, sorry.
Go on.
Can we thank Natalie as well for a beautiful poem?
Gosh, yes, of course.
Her
Natalie.
Poem, yes. Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah, because we haven't been on since. We were saying thank you, but I don't think no one's seen us. So thank you.
Also to Karen, Gabby, and David for your special messages.
Thank you. Also, we're saying hello to Kia Brown, Sanjama,
Hey.
Ali, Vanessa H. Say mums, this is amazing. Hello, thank you. We've got Mary Ross Davey representing the Royal College of Midwives and offering your support to the campaign. So thank you very much. That's amazing. We really do appreciate that. And we hope to interact with more of you during the day. During the evening. I mean, to stop saying during the day, it's actually evening, baby brain. Okay, I'm gonna dash off and leave Rebecca to host this, the rest of the panel, because I've got a sleeping baby. Eden she's about to sleep, so I'm gonna tend to her and leave you in the capable hands of Rebecca.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Health Professional panel. Ooh. I'm a bit nervous. I don't like public speaking, but this is a must for me. So quickly, I'm going to introduce the 4 beautiful health professionals on my panel. Firstly, we've got Dr. Jenny Douglas, who's a senior lecturer in health promotion in the Facility of Wellbeing, Education and Language Studies at the Open University, and the founder of the Black Women's Health and Wellbeing Research Network, which we'll hear more about. Dr. Jenny Douglas has done so much work to do Black women's health. She has a PhD in women's studies, and her research in both wide and ranging, spanning 30 years on the issues around race, health and ethnicity. Wow. Next, we have Dr. Annabelle Sowumore. She is a sexual reproductive health doctor and the founder of community-based organization Decolonizing Contraception. She is a regular columnist from the Geldom and a freelance journalist, having written for The Independent and the Metro Online. Hi, Dr. Annabelle. Next, we've got Marley, Midwife Marley. I prefer to call you Midwife Marley. I'm so used to saying that.
That's all right.
Marley has experience as both NHS and independent midwife. She is a mum of 5, including a set of twins. She's a hypnobirthing teacher and is currently writing her first book. Can't wait for that to come out. Marley is also the founder of Childbirth Downloads, an educational resource website for midwives and other birth workers. Hi, Marley.
Hi.
Alicia is a final year student in London and qualified children's nurse. She is also the editor-in-chief of the Student Midwives Journal and the founder and creator of the COVID-19 cohort blog, hosted on All for Maternity website. Thank you guys for accepting to be on the panel today. So we're going to start off with asking one of the most basic questions. And to be honest, I'm slightly tired of answering this question, but it's something I have to ask for women who don't know. Why are women in the UK 5 times more likely to die? We know it's because of complications, but why is this happening? And I'd like Dr. Annabelle to answer that question. I know it's kind of like a broad question, but can you say maybe 3 of the reasons why you think this is happening?
Thank you. First of all, thank you very much for having me and putting this event together, because it's so important and so vital, and it's sad that it's taken so much time, and that also you're having to fundraise for your work, which is another conversation. But in relation to why, I think we'll get into why in more detail, but ultimately, usually we say, oh, there's increased risk of having medical complications. People are having what people would deem higher risk pregnancies. However, what we've seen in the MBRRACE report, the data that this is taken from and where these statistics come from, is that it really isn't that clear cut. And there are comments within the paper that we have to pay more attention to provider bias and also the prejudice within the system. And obviously around COVID, people have been much more willing to have those type of conversations, aside from the medical ones and the typical genetic ones that people were traditionally having, which actually weren't really explaining that wide discrepancy we were seeing. So in answer to your question, it's not simple, it's complex, and it's multifactorial, but there are some conversations we're more willing to have than others. Can you hear me? I'm sorry, it went.
Yeah, keep crashing. Sorry.
Froze me there a moment. Yeah. So that I'm not sure if you want me to elaborate on specific ones, but as an overview, there are multiple factors, but we're definitely less willing to have a conversation about the structural issues and the individualized experiences of Black women within the system, whether that's being stereotyped because of you know, people saying that we are supposed to be stronger, or that we're loud and we're being aggressive within the system when we present to services. You saw from Sylvia Delissa's mum, and unfortunately, I've heard Delissa's story a few times now, and it never gets any less harrowing for me, because there are so many issues within that story. First of all, how often Black women, myself included, and you know, family members, when we present for medical care, which means that we won't present for medical care when we're more when we're sicker because we've lost faith in the system, from things inbuilt within the medical system. And obviously you mentioned at the beginning, that's something that I talk about a lot, prejudice built in, such as Black women have a different pelvis to white women, which are direct historical inaccuracies that have been handed down throughout medicine, which were built through colonialism, really, to justify racism. And we haven't really interrogated whether some of these things are actually fundamentally true or not. Some people have just kind of put them in their mind, and then sometimes it has these dangerous consequences. So we need to be a bit more reflective in our practice. So that's kind of an overview. There's a lot more to be said on that.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Annabelle. Dr. Jenny Douglas, would you like to tell us a little bit about your network?
Yeah, we formed the network in 2011. And that was because of the research I was doing, I was becoming more and more aware that the specific health needs of Black, that is African and Caribbean women, were not being addressed. There were a few small studies. And so the aim of the network, first of all, was to raise awareness of the particular health needs of Black women. Secondly, it was to bring together those Black researchers, because there were kind of Black researchers who were very isolated. And what we wanted to do was to be able to undertake some research projects, which we haven't been able to do to a great extent, because even though we are applying for funding for research, as Black women, we're not getting funding for that research. But we have had a number of seminars and conferences to raise awareness.
Oh, I thought it froze.
No.
Oh no, it's frozen. I want to ask you, how important is it to have a Black health study in the UK? Especially when you think about, you know, maternal deaths.
Yeah, I think it's particularly important. In the US, there is a Black women's health study that has been running from Boston University for the last 30 or so years. So they have been able to follow through the same group of women, and they've been able to see what changes are taking place, what's getting better, what's getting worse. We don't have that information here in the UK. you know, we know about Black women and maternal mortality because that is a really stark statistic. And that statistic, unfortunately, you know, behind that statistic of death and mortality, there is a whole range of morbidity, of illnesses that Black women suffer, where we just don't have sufficient information.
Thank you. Thank you. And Alyssa, I just wanted to ask you, you're a third-year midwife. During your midwifery studies, did they speak about the statistics?
In my first year, we were shown a single slide, and that's been about it. That is the extent of the discussion of the maternal mortality crisis affecting Black women in the UK. That is the extent of my education on it at university. So I'm a Black woman, I have Black sisters, I have Black friends. It's not acceptable to me that this is happening. So I took it upon myself to educate myself. So earlier this year, I went to the RCOG conference, the We Need to Talk About Race conference for International Women's Day. I forced myself upon Mars Lord. Please, Mars, teach me. Please mentor me because I need to know why this is happening. And I've been reading around about the work of Jenny Joseph, the work of Black women, Black mothers, Black midwives, Black doulas in the UK, what they're doing here. I've been learning about what they've been doing here to support Black mothers and improve their outcomes. So I like to read Venetia Virgo. She's a doula. She writes wonderfully. I like to read her pieces, and I follow a lot of midwives, doulas and birth workers of colour working with Black women to improve their outcomes. I follow them on social media. Unfortunately, I'm in the situation where I have to educate myself. There are some midwifery lecturers in the country doing the work, but I wouldn't say that it's widespread enough.
No, I don't think it was. And Marley, did you have any, obviously you've been a midwife for a while now, did you hear about any of the statistics? Oh, I can't get the words out.
No, I know what you mean, it's okay. Whilst I was training, no, absolutely not. I don't remember it being touched on at all. I mean, this was quite some time ago now. This was like, I mean, I've been a midwife for 11 years. And it's quite interesting actually, because I only first started to kind of recognize and see what was going on when I first qualified. I worked in a hospital that was in a predominantly white area, a white affluent area. And I always tell this story about when I first got the job there. And actually, no, sorry, this was before I got the job as a midwife. This was when I was a healthcare assistant. And I was about to do my midwifery training, and I was talking to one of my colleagues who was a healthcare assistant as well. And bearing in mind, I'd given birth in this hospital myself. I'd had, you know, babies there myself before I became a midwife. And, you know, I'm a woman of colour myself as well. And we was given a reading list of books to buy for our course. And one of the books was something along the lines of culture and diversity in midwifery practice. And I said to my colleague, oh, look, you know, these are all the books we're going to buy. And she said, well, I'm not going to get that one. There's no point because we don't really have Black women giving birth here. And I sort of looked at her and said, well, I didn't say anything actually at the time. I kind of looked at her and thought, well, what am I then? I've had my babies here. But then after that, I had there was nothing in my training. I went to work in that same hospital for 3 years. And then I moved to another hospital in London. And I thought this was great, you know, because there was a lot more Black midwives. There was a lot more just midwives of colour. You know, it was very, very diverse in terms of the staff there. And I thought it was fantastic. You know, things are going to be much better here. And actually, it didn't seem to be any different at all, you know, in terms of how women were spoken to, for example, how women were treated. And a lot of it was very, very subtle, you know, and it kind of, when you're kind of living in the moment, you don't always see what's going on, you know. And I'll give you another example, actually. When I was working with a mentor of mine, learning how to do the booking procedure for for mums who had just kind of got pregnant. They wanted to come book with a midwife. The area that I worked in, we had a very high population of women who were from East Africa, and some of those women had FGM, or female genital mutilation, when they were younger. Not all of them, but just a certain portion of those women. And what I noticed was that when the women came into the clinic, so there was a mixture of women, black women, white women, Asian women. We would have to ask a set of questions to these women, and one of the questions was about domestic violence. Is your relationship okay? Is there any problems? Another question was asking about genitalia. Have you ever had any surgery to your genitals? Or ever had any FGM? And this question was only ever being asked to women who appeared to be East African, visually, and it's something that we should be asking everybody. And as Alicia said to me on a podcast a few weeks back, that actually when you think about surgery to the genitalia, that can include things like piercing, that can include things like cosmetic surgery, so we have to kind of broaden our mind. But it seems like there was kind of like the mindset to just ask people from that background. So yeah, I mean, sorry, I've kind of gone off on a tangent a little bit, but just to try and sort of explain to you what it's kind of been like for me. I mean, I haven't we wasn't taught during our training at all, but it's kind of become more and more pronounced as my time midwifery's gone on. Yeah.
Thank you. Dr. Annabelle, would you like to tell us a little bit about decolonizing conception?
Yeah, thank you very much. So yay, we were recently actually named Grassroots Organisation of the Year at the Sexual Health Award. So actually our work seems to be at least resonating in some areas, and essentially what it is started off as a collective of Black and people of colour, and we use that terminology very specifically because we're talking about racism a lot and we're talking about white supremacy, so we have to use the opposite. And we also want to highlight that anti-Blackness is a very specific form of racism. So that's the terminology we use. I know terminology is variable and people have their different gripes with it. And essentially the reason we set it up is because within sexual reproductive health, we have similar disparities that have existed in this country since the 60s, and they've not changed. In fact, they're getting worse. And we felt that we needed to have different conversations around sexual reproductive health that are not just saying that groups are high risk or difficult to reach, that actually has the conversations about structural issues that lead people to have poor health outcomes. So some of the panelists have picked up on these things already, and Jenny's done wonderful work around some of the things that we talk about. But some of the things that lead us to have this statistic 5 times more start much earlier on. So when I've often talked and interviewed a lot of Black women and brown women about their reproductive health, do you attend for cervical screening? Do you know how to access care? And this is also for British-born people that are not having language barriers or anything like that. They often say no. And when you ask why not, sometimes it's because we know that we're socially, economically disadvantaged more than our white counterparts. They can't get to clinic. When they do present to clinic, people can be a bit demeaning if they think they're not well spoken. Black don't crack, which is great, but often people think I'm 10 years younger than I am, and their response to me can be actually very dismissive sometimes because people think I'm younger than I am. And these are some of the things that people face in clinical situations. So these are the issues that decolonizing contraception kind of set out to address. But the reason we're called decolonizing contraception is because at the heart of it, we wanted to have conversation about really difficult historical issues such as contraception and population control, and also how colonialism affects reproductive health. So when I say that, it's a lot of the things that midwife Marley mentioned aren't talked about in the curriculum, right? So where are these? We have this gap, and then nobody talks about the ideas and perceptions some people have of Black people when they've never mixed or related to any Black people before. So all they've got is the visual representations in the media, often which are negative, which they project onto their patients. No one talks about that. It's not talked about in our medical curriculum. We don't do any simulation on Black patients. All our dummies are white. And these things do matter. They do matter a lot, because when people then go to interact with even colleagues in a professional situation, the outcomes can be bad ones. And just one other thing I wanted to bring in, we say decolonizing and not diversifying. And I think it's really important to understand that diversity is really helpful, but it's never going to be the answer, because ultimately a lot of Black people, their belief systems are actually quite similar to their white counterparts, because we've been raised in a system which kind of elevates whiteness. So what that means is, if a Black doctor goes into a room with a well-spoken or just a white patient, even if they're a Black doctor, that white patient is likely to get better care, because they're more scared that patient will complain. The Black doctor is potentially scared that if they have a bad interaction, that they're going to get more of a disciplinary if they do something bad to a Black patient. So diversity only gets us part of the way there, and it's time to actually go back to the root of the problem and interrogate the actual system and wider structure which we're all practicing in. And that's what decolonizing is, and that's what we're looking at in specifically related to sexual reproductive health. But people are doing that across the board, and I just think we need to do more of it, and people need to look at the heart of their own industry, really, because this is why we have statistics. It's really a macro issue. It's not an individual problem about an interaction with one person. Like in Delissa's case, it was a systematic failing, and what led all of those people to think she wasn't worthy, you know?
Thank you for that. I'd just like to talk a little bit about continuity of care, because it seems like everyone keeps talking about it. They feel like continuity of care is the answer. Jackie Dunkley-Bent was on the health committee last week, and she also spoke about continuity of care. I would like to ask Midwife Miley, what is continuity of care, and who is entitled to continuity of care?
The continuity of care is something that we as midwives have been talking about forever. It's not something that has just cropped up in recent weeks or recent months. It's something that we've always kind of spoken about and wanted, really, for people. So continuity of care really is about seeing the as much as possible the same care provider throughout your pregnancy. So, for example, you have a mother that comes along and meets her midwife for the first time, and she has a set number of appointments throughout her pregnancy, usually, and rather than seeing a different midwife every time, the idea of it being continuous is to see the same midwife as much as possible. You know, there's going to be times when she might be off sick, but ideally to see her, because then that way you're less likely to have miscommunication, things get missed, and also it helps the mother and the midwife build a rapport, you know, and then you get trust being built as well, which is why it's really, really important. I've worked with mothers that I've seen throughout their pregnancy, and then because I've been a community midwife, I've seen them afterwards as well as postnatally, and it's great because you know them, you remember things from their pregnancy. You know, if somebody is high risk, for example, if somebody develops preeclampsia when they are in their third trimester, you remember that. So when you go and see them postnatally, something gets triggered and you remember. Whereas if you are a midwife doing a bank shift, for example, and you're trying to cover someone else, you might not, you know, subconsciously you might miss something. So it is really important. It's important for everybody, but especially for Black women at the moment, you know, with the rate of mortality. But yeah, continuity of care is really important.
Okay, so Black women who have complications during their pregnancy or who have a high BMI, are they still able to access community of care midwives?
You know, I think it just depends on what your trust and what your trusts are offering. Ideally, like I said, you know, it'd be nice for for us to be able to offer continuity of care, sorry, it's a bit of a mouthful, to everybody. But I think with the way things are at the moment, you've got a lot of midwives, like I used to work part-time with the NHS because I've got a young family. A lot of midwives working part-time. There's a high level of sickness within the NHS, within the maternity sector as well. So it's quite difficult. But the whole point of having a campaign for one mother and one midwife, which has been going on for a long time, is to try and get that, is to try and get a situation where if we say to a woman, go and call your midwife if there's a problem, that she knows who her midwife is, that she can, you know, when she rings up the community midwife's office, that she can say, can I leave a message for midwife so-and-so, because that's who her midwife is, you know. It is really important. And yes, all women should be entitled to continuity of care, but whether that's actually practical at the moment, I don't know. And that's obviously something for the higher powers to organise and to sort out, quite frankly.
Thank you. So I have a question for everyone, and it's something I've been trying to figure out. So we know the leading cause of maternal death is heart disease. Compared to white women, how many Black women are dying from heart disease? Is there any statistics that shows, you know, Black women are 20% more likely than white women to die from heart disease? Is there any statistics? Because I've been looking for it, haven't found nothing. No.
So I'm not a cardiologist, but I think I've looked around this issue, and I'm not sure if Jenny has also looked around this issue, but obviously there is a higher proportion of kind of high blood pressure and cardiac disease actually just generally in Black communities, and there's also actually something to be said about the social inequalities that lead that to be so in the first place. So heart disease and diseases like diabetes are generally related to lifestyle. As we saw during COVID, people that work in certain jobs are more likely to be Black and brown people, jobs that are structurally less, socioeconomically less safe, but more exposed. People's eating habits are determined by what they can afford. We know that obesity is linked to cardiac disease. Black women are often told that we have high BMIs, which there's a whole conversation to be had around that. But essentially, a lot of these things are structural. So if people can afford good food, you know, if people can afford to go to gym and do the amount of exercise that require, are people stressed because racism is stressful, you know, and things like that. So I think even in itself, we're not willing to have a conversation sometimes about how some diseases in themselves are very much embedded within the structures that we have. So yes, Black communities are more affected by hypertension, cardiac disease, and obesity, but actually those are diseases that are associated with poor socioeconomic groups. So
I would add to that. I totally agree with you. And I think that one of the other issues is that heart disease is not recognised as much in women generally. And that is why we just don't have the data on women generally, and then specifically on Black women. But as you say, as Black women, we are more likely to have high blood pressure, we're more likely to suffer from hypertension, and we're more likely to have strokes. We have a higher rate of strokes. But in terms of heart disease, probably people have not done the research to find out what the incidence of heart disease is amongst Black women.
Yes, that's great.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said about the research that's done among certain demographics and who research and why, and that's another conversation that leads us to not really have great answers actually, and also very good treatment for some groups of people.
And does that go down to the data that we don't collect?
Yeah,
they're difficult to reach.
The week. I really don't like that. I dislike that phrase.
Yeah, so do I.
I think what I know we're not difficult to reach. Just that some of the services are very hard to access. That's how I like to put it. I had a midwife who asked me, how do I, speak to Black women? You're a midwife, I'm sure you work with Black women, you support Black women in giving birth. Just speak. I wasn't too sure how to answer her questions. I was like,
I think there is definitely something to be said about how can I say, we're not difficult to reach, but within our work, we talk about whether we actually want to access care because some of the experiences we've had and historically some of our beliefs. So, for example, I know within my own family, nobody is going to want to be recruited into a trial necessarily if you call it a trial, because there's a very loaded history of people being mistreated or trials being associated with, you're going to be somebody's guinea pig, and communities have been before. So work needs to actively be done when we talk about research and understanding the statistic 5 times more into allaying people's fears and making something actually mutually beneficial for a community of people that are often actually being quite exploited sometimes. So I think, yes, that phrase is really loaded and it implies that us as a community has a problem, whereas actually the problem has actually been with the people trying to research us, and now possibly people don't want to actually participate anymore because there have been issues before.
Also, this thing about we do surveys, but we don't see no results.
Yeah,
we just
that's right. Yeah,
doing surveys, and there's actually no results. What happens to the surveys? What actually goes on? So I have a comment from Ali. And it says, and not just taught statistics, but the midwife curriculum should also include training to help students learn to unpack and understand the unconscious bias that they hold, that everyone holds.
Yeah.
So Alyssa, since that was to the midwife, how do you think the curriculum can incorporate, the statistics and talk about the statistics? You said your first year was only one slide that you saw. Would you have preferred it? Obviously you would have, but have a month on it, every year go back on it. How would you have preferred it?
So my second year focused on complications, diabetes, asthma, all those things. I think that the care of Black and brown women should be interwoven into every single subject. So, for example, if we're talking about how to recognise jaundice, show us how to recognise jaundice on Black and brown babies. If we're talking about cyanosis, teach us how to learn how to recognise it in Black and brown babies. We need to know how to recognise signs of deterioration in every ethnicity, not just because we don't just look after white Caucasian women.
Yeah.
We are taught that a pink skin tone is a healthy skin tone.
Yeah.
If you are a Sudanese woman, a South Sudanese woman with a South Sudanese husband, how likely is it that your child's complexion is ever going to be pink?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have a background in paediatric nursing, so I picked up these things as a paediatric nurse working in a very diverse hospital in London. I found failings when I studied to become, during my studies as a midwife. I found that I am not being taught these things. I've retained that information, but I'm listening and I'm not being taught these things at university. However, I've recently moved to a new trust and I listened to a discharge talk being given to a woman by a midwife who was telling her how to recognize jaundice in her brown-skinned child. And it made me so happy.
Yeah.
It made me so happy. I shouldn't be elated by that because it should be the norm. Yeah. And also, Black women are more affected by gestational diabetes during their pregnancies, but they're given advice to manage their diet that is not culturally appropriate. To me, telling me to eat dried apricots and whatever else, I don't eat those in my regular diet. If I have a lower socioeconomic status, do you know how expensive dried apricots and all that stuff is? You need to be giving women information that is tailored to their cultural background so that they have a better chance of complying with the guidance and having better outcomes. Yeah. That's what we need to learn at university.
Thank you. I love that. Thank you. Okay, so we've got 5 minutes to go, and I kind of wanted to, round it up. But thank you so much, all of you. Thank you for taking your time out on a Saturday evening, to be a part of this conversation. I'm just overwhelmed. I'm just hoping that this is the end, not the end, but there's going to be a change now. And Dr. Jenny Douglas, you've been doing this for a long time. Do you feel like there's a positive change that's going to happen?
I would really like to see a positive change. As you know, I was involved in a study that was done in 1985,
I think it was.
And it was published in 1985 on Black women and maternity services. And that was showing all the things that we are now hearing. Women were ignored, people didn't kind of understand their pain, they experienced discrimination. And what I hope, that we're in a moment where we will get some real change, where we will really have some policy changes in response to the racism, structural racism and individual racism that Black women experience in relation to maternity services.
Thank you. I just want to show the book. So everyone needs to get it. And this is it. I don't know if you can see. And it's on 30 women in a South London hospital, in all South London hospitals, actually. Yeah. And some of the things I've read on there, it talks about continuity of care, Black women not be given, informed decision-making. They all had to give birth in a hospital. They were belittled. Everything I'm hearing now, everything I read in this book is what I'm hearing now.
Yeah. And that is really, it's really sad. It's a really sad indictment on our society that we haven't moved in those 35 years. But I am optimistic. I do think that we will have change now. And I think particularly, with people like yourself, other activists who are really banging at the door and saying, no, this can't continue any longer.
Thank you. Thank you, Jenny Douglas. Thank you, Alicia, sorry. Thank you, Dr. Annabelle. And thank you, Midwife Marley.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much for arranging everything. Bye.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm back. I just popped up out of nowhere. I've got the baby to sleep, so I'm going to try and be a little bit quiet. But yeah, I've been listening in the background. Just wanted to thank everyone who was on the panel. You are all amazing. Also wanted to thank everybody who is watching, leaving us comments, liking, that kind of thing. We love it. We love to see it. We love to see people interacting, asking us questions, that kind of thing. Yeah, thank you. So right now it is 7:10. So what we want you to do is grab a tea, go to the toilet, go and change your baby, do what you need to do. We are going on a quick commercial break because obviously we understand it's a 3-hour long event and we don't want you to be super, super tired. But yeah, we will go on a break. But before that, we've got some special videos, special messages from people, and then we'll go on our commercial break. So yes, make sure you come back in about, less than 10 minutes. We're coming back live at 20 past. So we'll give you enough time to go and grab that tea and biscuits.
Black women in the UK are 5 times more likely to die in pregnancy and childbirth. My name is Angela McConville. I'm Chief Executive of NCT, the National Childbirth Trust, and we are in support of all the work that the 5 Times More campaign is doing to highlight and change this statistic and outcomes for Black women. Please support them by taking your selfie, spreading the word of their 6 recommendations, and donating what you can to their fundraising campaign. Thank you.
Black women in the UK are 5 times more likely to die in pregnancy and childbirth. My name is Olive Lewin and I work for Lee Day, and we are in support of all the work the 5 times more campaign is doing to highlight and change this statistic and the outcomes for black women. Please support them by taking your selfie, spreading the word of their 6 recommendations and donating to their fundraising campaign. Thank you.
I'm a renegade and I'm feeling fine. Cutting loose things higher mountain. I'm the real thing, take me out tonight. I'm gonna swing under all these lights, so I feel the pressure touching me. Came out like a diamond, sparkling. I got that ripple blood in my veins. You can try, but I will never be tamed. Oh, I own it and I can own it. I'm the only me and that's how I want it.
Okay, hello everybody, welcome back. I hope your tea is still steaming hot and you grabbed yourself a biscuit, maybe a cheeky cake. I love biscuit and cake and tea. I love it. Oh, baby Eden's up. Hey, say hi, Mama. Hi. This is the beautiful girl that I gave birth to in April, slap bang in the middle of the pandemic and lockdown and everything. So yeah, say hi, gorgeous. Say hello to all your fans. Hi. She's like, what's going on? There we go. Hi. Hello. Yeah, there we go. There's a smile. So right now we are about to talk to Siobhan. And she is from the Positive Birth Company, who are our official sponsors for this event. And Siobhan has been amazing from the get-go that she realised about our campaign. She's been so supportive. Positive Birth Company have been amazing. Honestly, we have partnered up with them a couple of months ago now, actually, to offer every single month 100 Black women space every month on their digital hypnobirthing course for free. And yeah, hypnobirthing, like I said, I gave birth to Eden in April in the middle of the pandemic. Hypnobirthing and the techniques helped me. So that's why I was really passionate. So their values align with sort of what we do and what we believe, and our, kind of our 6 recommendations. Believing in yourself, believing in your body and trusting your body that it knows what it's doing. And so, when the opportunity came about to partner up, I was like, let's do it, amazing. So I am going to say thank you once again, and we're going to bring Siobhan on so we can just hear from her and see, kind of why did you want to help us? Hello, Siobhan. Hi, Siobhan.
Hey guys, hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I just want to say a massive congratulations for everything that you have managed to do. Like, this evening's event is incredible. The awareness week is amazing, and I know that you're doing it, and you've got a baby on your lap right now, even like you're super women. Honestly, like what you're doing is incredible. Huge congratulations.
Thank you so much. No, we really, really appreciate all the support that PBC have given to us, and obviously all the hundreds of women that we've been able to help over the last few months with the hypnobirthing course. So yeah, I'm just going to give you the floor. Tell everybody about Positive Birth Company, why you started, why you're so passionate, why you decided to partner up with us, and how important this all is for you.
Sure. So not nervous at all.
Oh God, yeah, no pressure.
So I'm Siobhan, and I'm the founder of the Positive Birth Company. I started the Positive Birth Company back in 2016, just after the birth of my 3rd son. And my sort of mission from day one has been to make hypnobirthing more accessible for everyone, because I think it's something, an education, tools, techniques to help make your birth better, essentially, should be something that everyone has access to. And so I focused quite a lot on removing financial barriers initially, because I felt that, back in 2016, to do a hypnobirthing course, your only real option was to shell out hundreds of pounds to have a private course. And obviously that's not attainable for a great majority of women who would then be losing out on that. And so my first thing that I did was create free videos on YouTube, and they went up in 2017. And then from there, I did an online course called the Digital Pack, which launched in 2018. And it's the full hypnobirthing course with lots of additional bits and pieces. And it's £39. And when I launched that, there was nothing else similar on the market. It was about 80% cheaper than anything else, even similar.
Gosh, yes, of course.
It was, and I just sort of hoped initially that people who couldn't afford to do the private class would therefore benefit from this more affordable option. I had no idea how popular it would become. I genuinely was like a one-woman show with three kids. 2 of them were like under 18 months or whatever. It was like immense time, and it just took off, and it's been hugely popular. And from there, I've written a book. I've developed an app called Freya, which I think you used, Tina Kay.
Yes. Shout out to Freya, because Freya completely, oh my God, changed my whole birthing experience. Yeah, it was just amazing, and it really helped me. So shout out to Freya, shout out to BBC. Let me not cut in. Sorry, I'm so passionate. I'm like, yes. let me let you go on.
So Freya is like a virtual birth partner that you can just get on the App Store or Google Play Store, and it's $2.99. So again, you don't even need to have done the full course. You know, if you can afford $2.99 and get the app, at least the app will sort of coach you through your labour, help you to relax, track your surges or contractions, let you know when it's time to call the midwife. It's just like really reassuring. So there's been like quite a few things. Obviously, we did a postnatal course as well, again, because so many people were doing the digital pack and they were telling us, I felt great, I felt confident, I felt empowered going into birth, and then afterwards, like nothing prepared me and there was no support, and I felt tortured. So then what I did was recruit all these different experts in different fields and kind of create an online pack for postnatally, covering things like feeding and sleeping and mental health and physical recovery. So that's kind of like the trajectory of the Positive Birth Company. And so you're removing financial and geographical barriers has been like the main focus. But what I massively overlooked was how white privilege plays into a positive birth experience. And I hold my hands up and just was, focused solely on kind of financial barriers and geographical barriers, and not actually other barriers that exist. And so, although I was aware of the 5 times more statistic, I think vaguely aware of it, it wasn't something that really became more central to what we're doing here. In light of really the Black Lives Matter movement really made, and your guys' work raising awareness really did exactly what you did. It raised awareness. I became more aware of it, and I thought, this is crazy, this is insane. And I'm working with pregnant women every day, and there are pregnant women out there that are 5 times more likely to die than other women, and the only difference here is racial differences. It's mad. And I felt, deeply ashamed of having not addressed this sooner. But so what we set out in light of that was how we were going to try and make our course accessible to everybody and more accessible to Black women. And I know that that's not going to close the gap, but I think that's feeling more empowered, like part of your steps that you've recommended, speaking up and having the confidence. I think the course does help with that, helps women to feel more confident to speak up and gives them a framework to ask questions. And so I wanted that to be more accessible to Black women. And so we have created an anti-racism manifesto, which was on the back of lots of internal discussions and external learning, where we've set out various changes that we're making or improvements that we're making regarding diversity, both internally and what we put out externally, partnering with yourselves to make the pack more available to Black women. And that's just a small part of what we feel we can do with what we have to help. But also, obviously, we've pledged to donate money to different causes and organizations. And really, we are all in and want to do everything that we can to raise awareness and to also try and close that gap, because it shouldn't exist. And the fact that it's increasing as well in time, when you compare the statistics from a few years ago to now, and even more recent indications are that it's continuing to rise, something needs to be done. So I have just the utmost respect for everything that you're doing and what we want to help.
Gosh. Wow, thank you. There's so much there, so much that I would want to address and to kind of unpick. And I think what you've set out to do and what you've pledged to do to help Black women with what you do is amazing. And I think even just having the realization of, wow, this is, hypnobirthing is largely a white kind of middle class, white privilege kind of thing, to make that more accessible to everyone, kind of, online, virtually throughout the world. So, people who have access to internet can access this, but also the price as well, to that may be a barrier to some. So I think even just thinking about that and saying, right, what can we do to, help mothers out there? I think it's amazing. It's amazing. You and your company and everybody that works with you, definitely pat yourselves on the back, because what you're doing is so good to try and help. Oh, bless you. out there to just feel going into labour and childbirth feeling much more empowered and just feeling that they have more knowledge. So yeah, I just wanted to...
It should be an even playing field, you know, and I feel it's so deeply unfair that even if you get a black woman and a white woman and both have done a hypnobirthing course and both come from the same background and everything in the situation is the same, still that disparity exists.
Yeah.
And that just is so vastly unfair. So I know that hypnobirthing is not going to solve that.
Yeah.
But, you know, listening to black women's experiences that they've not been listened to, or they, you know, their pain has been overlooked, or various different horrifying things that I've read and heard and listened to. And I just hope that giving women some practical tools they can use might help them, you know, even just a small bit, to feel confident to speak up or confident to demand a second opinion, and to be heard. And also just supporting the work that you do to raise awareness also with health workers, you know, those in the institution itself. Obviously there needs to be an internal change within the NHS, within the whole birthing industry. So yeah, I want to do what I can to amplify and support, because what you're doing is amazing, and I want that to be part of that support and to see that change happen.
Yeah, and actually we do have a video coming up from Dale, who will be telling us of her. She's currently pregnant. I think she's got a few more weeks to go, but she's been through the hypnobirthing course and she is already feeling way more confident going into her labour, because she's done the hypnobirthing course via 5 times more. So
that's brilliant. Just of course, one of the worries is that people that are watching who are currently pregnant, black women, and listening to the statistics, of course, they're really scary and triggering. So as much as like with the Positive Birth Company, we like all about sharing positive stories and building confidence, but also trying to talk about these statistics, which are scary. And I think, again, hypnobirthing can really help with worries that you have, because, you know, as you learn on the course, being relaxed makes things easier and more straightforward.
Sorry. So sorry.
Fine, we're live. This is we're live. We're really live, guys.
We're really live. Authentic.
It helps with managing fears. So it's obviously very understandable to feel worried about giving birth, and especially so if you're a black woman and you're listening to this and you're hearing the statistics, you know, obviously that's going to make you feel worried. But being able to have some tools to help with that, you know, like positive affirmations, guided meditation, different techniques. I hope, that those kind of things help. And if anyone is watching, you know, even if you haven't managed to sign up for those free digital packs through the 5 times more team, we have the free YouTube videos as well. So, you know, there's a lot of free resources out there that you can go and use to help yourself kind of feel more confident, because, you know, that's what I want for every woman, to feel confident going into birth and have that positive experience that they deserve.
Yeah. No, thank you. I really, really appreciate it. We've got one comment here from Sanjima. She says, yay, Positive Birth Company for their support for the campaign and women. Love the fact that it's about support being accessible for everyone.
Yeah, and that's like the core of our business. Like, and it always has been and it always will be. And we're just realizing that we can do more. So
and well done to you. Oh my gosh, I can imagine that obviously everything's digital. You started it in 2018, but I'm sure you've had a surge of you know, just influx of people interested during the pandemic, and everything kind of just moving online anyway, everything kind of going that way. So yeah, oh my gosh, like, congratulations to you, I guess. I know you're doing really
crazy time, like
of PBC everywhere. So like, wow, like, we're honored. We're actually honored.
No, I'm honored. It's been a crazy time because most of the people that work for Positive Birth Company are all mums. So, you know, lockdown here, everyone's working from home around their children, trying to homeschool. And suddenly there's been obviously a huge increase in anxiety amongst pregnant women, understandably, people turning to the Positive Birth Company for support. And behind the scenes, we're like running around like crazy, trying to homeschool our children and make sure that we're still offering the service that we want to be offering. So it has been a crazy time, but I'm glad that we can, we've been able to help a few people. So.
No, you definitely have. You definitely have. And like I said, we are literally about to press play, so you can hear from Dale and her experience. and just a few other women's experiences as well. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you once again. Everybody, please visit www.5xmore.com/PBC for Black women who are currently pregnant for your access to the hypnobirthing course. It is amazing, and we've had a lot of positive feedback. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. And
so
massive
much.
congratulations for tonight and everything that you're doing. It's phenomenal.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Okay, so the amazing Siobhan there. I don't know if people can see me. That's fine, that's fine. If you can see me, we are about to
go live. Can they see us?
I think now they can. I think now people can see us.
Okay.
Sorry. Quick technical glitch there. Just a technical glitch. Hopefully you can still see us. But yeah, we are about to hear some more special messages, and we're going to hear from a positive experience from mothers, from a mother, Dale, and then we're going to hear another experience who isn't necessarily as great, but we just again want to highlight that there are people behind the statistics. There are real life people who are having these poorer outcomes. So yes, please just be mindful that people are sharing their experiences. They may not necessarily be positive. And yeah, thank you for still tuning in. Gosh, we hope you're okay. We hope everything's fine. I know it was just a break and everything, but yeah, we just wanted to remind you of our Just Giving link as well, and the fundraising that we've officially launched. If you look in the description below, you will find the link to our Just Giving page. So yeah, just wanted to remind everyone that was there if you missed that in the beginning. So we're going to cut to some special messages, like I said, and hear from some mothers, and then we're going to go into the motherhood panel.
Also, before we go on to hearing special stories, if you hear anything that's a bit triggering, please take some time out. Some of the stories that you will hear are a bit triggering.
Yes, of course. And we do have resources on our website to, for you to kind of look at and see what can help you there if you do find that a bit triggering as well. So, and Hilary Speaks, we will hear from her as well. So we've just got a series of videos back to back. We hope that you will find them. Enjoy them.
Our mum is 5 times more
likely to die during childbirth or pregnancy. I'm Donald Butcher.
I'm Monique. I'm Emmanuel. I'm Gabriel, and Emmanuel's 5.
And we're in support of the work that the 5 Times More campaign are doing to change the statistics and support and change the outcomes for Black women.
Black women in the UK are 5 times more likely to die in childbirth and in pregnancy. My name is Rhiannon Lambert, and I'm a registered nutritionist, an author, podcast host and founder of the Nutrition Clinic, and I want to put a stop to these statistics. If you guys want to help, then what you can do is share a selfie saying that you're supporting the 5 Times More campaign, or you can help by fundraising, and you can even start by sharing their 6 recommendations. Let's make a difference and let's make a change today.
Hi, my name's Dale Munnings, and I'm here to talk about my journey and experience in hypnobirthing and also the 5 Times More campaign. So initially, when I was growing up, I always had a really, really intense fear of birth and labour and everything that came with it. And when I found out that I was pregnant, I decided to go down the route of hypnobirthing and really figure out a way to use meditation and maybe like a more relaxing technique to approach birthing. And my partner actually suggested to go for a home birth initially, and I remember saying to him, "Are you crazy? There's no way I'm going to give birth without the support of doctors and the midwives at the hospital." And as time progressed and I started to learn more about hypnobirthing, I decided that actually maybe home birth would be a good option. So after I decided that it was something that I would consider, I stumbled across the Positive Birth Company Instagram page, and I was reading through a lot of positive birth stories, and it started to really change my perspective on what birth could mean for a woman, and especially a woman of colour. I was already aware of the issues that Black women had faced with maternity services, so that was a concern of mine as well. So I obviously followed them, and after a while I noticed that they had a campaign that they was doing alongside 5 times more. So I checked that out and realised that they was giving away 100 free hypnobirthing packs. So I signed up. The first round I actually didn't, I wasn't able to secure one. I was so disappointed. And then I was able to get the digital pack the second time round, which I was so grateful for. And now I'm 32 weeks pregnant, and I've completed most of the birthing pack, or the digital birthing pack, with my partner. We kind of sit down and go through the sessions together, and it's honestly transformed my whole perspective towards birthing and what labour really means for a woman. And I'm just so grateful to even have the opportunity to really approach birth in this way, because I've had friends that's recently given birth and had quite traumatic experiences, and for someone who suffers with anxiety, I feel that it's really important for me to feel supported in my birthing journey. So I just want to say thank you to 5 times more for having an amazing campaign and really raising the awareness of the issues that us Black women and women of colour go through maternity services, and also the Positive Birth Company for helping to change my perspective on birth and labour and what that means for a woman, and to understand that it's quite a beautiful transition to go through in the journey from being a woman into a mother. And hopefully I'll have a good experience to discuss my home birth, which I am planning for at the moment, and sorting out all of the bits and bobs that I need for that. And yeah, fingers crossed I will have a home birth. But even if I have to go into hospital, I feel prepared and, you know, excited actually for the journey that I have ahead with my family. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Emanuela and I support 5x More. When I had my 1-year-old, the campaign really helped me with my confidence, and it really helped me to advocate myself even more. I was able to speak about my care when I had my C-section, so I urge you to please support, donate and follow the 6 steps just like I did. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jackie and I support 5 times more. I want to encourage you to support the campaign, donate and follow them on all social media platforms, and that is 5 times more. Bye.
Hello, my name is Gabrielle and I am going to talk to you about my labour and childbirth story. I was due to give birth on the 13th of December 2017 and my son decided to arrive, God willing, by the 26th of December 2017 after a 13-day wait. My experience wasn't the greatest. I was in labour for 3 days, and during those 3 days I felt like the midwives and the doctors and the nurses just felt like I was over exaggerating everything that I was going through. Initially I called them up to say that I was, you know, feeling contractions. They told me not to come in, so I listened to them, and then I called them up again and they were saying the same thing, but I was so adamant that I had to go in, that my contractions were very serious and very painful. So I made sure that I went in. They finally admitted me and gave me some painkillers to reduce the pain because I hadn't slept for a couple of days. And then when the process of the labour started speeding up and I was progressing in terms of dilation, they eventually allowed me to go into the pool, which I had planned for, as I'd planned for a water birth. Unfortunately, as I got in the pool, everything just slowed right down. I got to 8 centimetres and then nothing was progressing after that. And during that time, you know, my son was, his heartbeat was dropping as my contractions were coming. I was getting high blood pressure during it all. And the midwives just weren't really doing much. They weren't trying to understand the pain that I was in, just telling me to take gas and air. They weren't trying to inform me of like what was going on or what could potentially happen moving forward. And I was just kind of sat there in the dark. So I didn't know what to expect next as a first-time mum. I had a sweep. And then they broke my waters, in which they saw meconium as my son had become distressed and pooed inside of me. Following that, they then offered me a hormone drip to speed up the process, but nothing actually worked. I had so many doctors and nurses coming inside of my room, looking down there, making me feel very uncomfortable. It wasn't the greatest experience, especially as a first-time mum. I didn't know what to expect. So yeah, I just wasn't happy with all of that. Following that, luckily an auntie that I know from our family church actually was working that day and was told to be my midwife for the night on her shift. And she's looked at my notes and was like, what is actually going on? You should have given birth by now. I saw you here 3 days ago, and from looking at your notes, it's not looking great, especially where your son has decided to poo inside of you through distress. So we need to get this baby out of you now. Now, I was very grateful for that. And she spoke to me in my native tongue, as I'm from Ghana, and explained to me that what was happening just wasn't right. And she was very shocked that I was still there. Within 45 minutes, she had organised an emergency cesarean for myself, in which I had an epidural and was taken straight to theatre. Because of just the crazy labour that I went through, it actually did put my son through a lot of distress. So when he was born, he actually wasn't breathing and they had to resuscitate him, of which I didn't know because I couldn't see anything that was happening. My hubby looked to the side and could see everything, but obviously he didn't tell me at the time because he didn't want to stress me out. But it is a story that he told me after, and I just thank him for being so brave despite everything. Because imagine seeing your child being resuscitated like after they've been born. You're going to be thinking the worst. And even the postpartum care just wasn't great, as I was having issues with breastfeeding, not knowing that my son had a tongue tie. They didn't tell me that until like 2-3 weeks later. But when I was in the hospital, the midwives were just like, oh, you'll be fine, you're a first-time mum, it's going to be hard for you, get used to it. Not actually examining my son to find out that he actually had a tongue tie. So I just wasn't very happy with the whole experience as a first-time mum. But now I know, moving forward, because of 5 times more and the whole campaign, I know that I have to speak up whenever I am feeling anything. I should listen to my body and make sure that I do speak up, because my whole situation could have been different. And I'm just very grateful that myself and my son are here very well and safe and healthy, because the circumstances that I went through could have been, you know, quite severe. And I'm just grateful for that one auntie midwife that actually came in on the night to save us. So thank you so much 5 times more for your campaign and for making us more aware of what goes on with us Black and ethnic women. And I just pray that we're able to make a change. And I hope that, you know, moving forward, we have less statistics of women that are dying during childbirth and labour. So thank you so much 5 times more.
Okay, I think everyone can see us.
Yes, we are back. Thank you to Gaz, thank you to Del, and thank you to all the beautiful mums who shared their positive, and Gab's her negative story of childbirth. And we're going to go through a few comments. So, let's look at the comments.
Right, let's look at the comments. Let me take this baby off you. Make it easier. Hello, princess.
So we've got Dr. Francis, awesome, very
apt discussion.
Oh, was it apt?
Yes, long overdue. Yes, we agree.
Lynn, global doula. We have Tessa. We got New Apple 1979. I completely agree. Ola Bulls, thank you guys. Yeah. Natalia, looking at systematic issues in a deeper way, like in this conversation, is really helpful. We got Maria. Oh, I've got so many.
There's so many comments.
So many comments. Corinne White, this is a great discussion. Excellent points are being raised. We've got Mary Rose Davies, very much agreed. Such an important discussion. Oh my gosh, we've got so many.
There's so many comments.
We've got a few from Positive Birth Company. We've got someone says, hey, wow, she's gorgeous. Eden.
Oh, Eden, you're famous, girl. You're famous. Eden.
Oh, we got someone from Canada.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
So we've got Womb Now Doula Service. She says, I am so grateful I was able to listen in from the beginning. Just a doula from Canada.
Oh, I'm just all the way from Canada, just dropping into 5 times more. Thank you so much.
Learning and loving the work you're doing. So grateful. Heart.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much.
We've got Mummy Day Out.
Hi.
Hi, Rachel. Cynthia. Hey, hello, cutie. I'm sure that's for Eden.
Of course. Well, I know I'm cute, but it's definitely about Eden.
Ellen, she's so cute. Virginia, first year student midwife, about to start. Thank you, Alice, for highlighting what we need to expect and demands as part of our training in order to care for all other women and babies.
Amazing.
We've got Ife Love. Someone said, hello, Eden.
Oh, Eden, say hello. I think all the comments are for you, pretty much. Hello. Hello.
Somebody else said, I'm extremely happy about this partnership and always recommend PBC. So that's for Siobhan.
Fantastic.
People said great partnership and accessibility. Well done, Siobhan, for stepping up and showing your support. I really hope to see more like-minded people showing their support.
Amazing.
Oh, that is lovely.
That's really, really lovely. That's really lovely. So I just wanted to, oh my gosh, like guys, we've raised over £600 already. Oh my God. Wow. Please keep donating. Just Giving link should be down below in the description. We've got 3 reasons why we are trying to raise this money, basically. So for those of you who may have missed it from the beginning, we have today officially launched our crowdfunding initiative. We want to help solve this disparity. So we are going to undertake a multifaceted analytical project to help understand the experiences of Black women and how they go through the maternity services and what that means. We want to go beyond the mortality, we want to go beyond the death and look at people's lived experiences. So that's a massive project. The second thing we want to do is to amplify. We speak to a lot of Black women. We hear their experiences all the time. We are a team of Black women ourselves, and we just want to continue to amplify Black women's voices because apparently they don't hear us.
We're hard to reach.
We are the seldom heard voices. So what we are trying to do is to raise money to make sure that those voices are amplified, are in the front and in the forefront and continue to be in the front. And another thing we want to do is also, so earlier on in the evening, we heard from Delissa's mum, Sylvia, who runs the DCP. So that's the Delissa Christina Princess Foundation. And also we are about to hear Sharmika's story. She's from Beyond Strength. So we're supporting 2 family foundations who have been deeply affected by these statistics. We always say there are real people behind the statistics, and we just want to do what we can to help support and just to help eradicate this. We can't do it alone, and we do need your help. So please, where you're able to, donate and share and let everyone know that this is happening. Hashtag on social media, hashtag 5xmore100k, hashtag 5xmore AW20, and that stands for Awareness Week 2020. Thank you so much for all your support and all the love and all the donations and just everything, guys. You mean everything to us, and 5 times more. We can't do what we do without you. And throughout this whole awareness week that we've created, so the UK's first Black maternal health awareness week. Gosh, that's always such a mouthful. But through this week, we have been able to just push this statistic, push the campaign, and just get further awareness in to the people that need to hear it at the top, and to people at the bottom and everyone in the middle. Everybody now kind of is aware of this statistic. We need to keep pushing it. We need to keep pushing it. So this awareness week, we're grateful to everybody that's kind of joined in and helped us on an every day of action. Today, we've got this event, and we're just grateful. And that's enough of us ranting on. I'm sure you want to hear of another performance, and we've got Hilary Speaks.
Amazing.
She's amazing. She's got a spoken word piece for us. And after that, we'll have some more special messages, and it will be a commercial break. So you can grab some tea, go and grab some biscuits and some cake. I'll be having fruit, but hey, Right, thank you.
Hi, my name is Hilary Speaks and I'm going to be performing a piece in support of the 5 Times More campaign, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to speak about a topic that's extremely close to heart, but quickly everyone, before I start, I need you to raise your right hand up and spread all 5 fingers out wide and repeat after me. Black women are 5 times more likely to die during pregnancy and childbirth than a white woman in the UK. Let that sink in, that after the amazing blessing of being able to conceive, black women are more likely to be not guaranteed a child to hold, love and care for, and simply stripped of the blessing of raising one after all. The number one question in all your mind should be, why is this happening? And it's painful to say that I really don't have a good reason, because after countless hours of reading and research, I've come to the conclusion that it's not because we are difficult, and it's not because we put on a brave face, it's not even because of complications, but it's simply because of our race. We are more likely to be not listened to, more likely to be ignored, more likely to be shut down, silenced and undermined in the ward, more likely to be refused pain relief, more likely to be abused, more likely to be discriminated against, more likely to end up on the news. We demand change. Something is seriously not right when screams of agony from a head crowning down below are interpreted as making up a fuss and putting on a show, and God forbid I managed to stay silent during childbirth. A nurse must tell me how strong I've been handling it all. We should be allowed not to be fighters, allowed not to be strong in a point of ultimate weakness, allowed to stick to our birth plans even when being persuaded not to. We demand change. We do not need racists working in the medical field. We demand change. Diversity training is to be taken on board. We need support groups and maternity services solely for black women. We need support during campaigns that raise awareness. We need to be listened to when the world wants to ignore. We can no longer afford to die prematurely. The NHS has our blood on their hands. Black women are 5 times more likely to die during pregnancy and childbirth than a white woman in the UK. Let that sink in.
Women in the UK are 5 times more likely to die in pregnancy and childbirth. My name is Fidos Ibrahim and I'm a solicitor at Lee Day. We support the work the 5 Times More campaign is doing to highlight and change this statistic for black women. Please support them by taking your selfie, spreading the word of their 6 recommendations and donating to their fundraising campaign. Thank you.
Black women are 5 times more likely to die in pregnancy and childbirth than white women. This is an urgent human rights issue. I'm Amy Gibbs, the Chief Executive of Birth Rights. I fully support the work of the 5 Times More campaign to raise awareness of this statistic and change outcomes for black women in the UK. You can support them too by taking your 5 Times More selfie, spreading the word about their 6 recommendations and donating to the 5 Times More fundraising campaign. Thank you for your support.
And we are back. Thank you so much. I hope you were able to grab a tea and
enjoy.
Have a wee. That's what you said before. Have a wee. Grab your tea and
have a wee.
Have a wee.
Biscuits
And cake and all that kind of good stuff. We are back with, gosh, is this part 2 or 3? I don't know.
Part 3.
Part 3.
I hope you're enjoying it so far. Sorry.
Yes.
I'm really enjoying it.
Please let us know in the comments. Are you enjoying it? Is it nice? Are you learning? Is this? Have you had anything new? Yeah, we'd
like to know.
We'd like to know. Let us know, because we will read them out.
Let us know on Twitter or on the live chat.
Or on Instagram,
wherever,
Facebook, literally wherever. So welcome back. I am about to read a story from Shamika, and she has set up Beyond Strength because of the experience that she had 7 years ago that still affects her today. So she gave birth to her son 7 years ago. I'm going to read out the blog story, her story that is featured on our blog, and her organization is one that we will be supporting with the money that we are raising for the campaign for hashtag 5x more 100k. So I'm going to go with it. I do have a trigger warning because it includes discussion of traumatic and difficult birthing experiences, which some people may find distressing. Hello everyone, my name is Shamika Dockery and I am 25 years old. My son Riley is 7. I have had chronic abdomen, hip and leg pain since the birth of my son via emergency C-section 7 years ago. After the C-section, I was in excruciating pain. My scar hurt horribly, and at night I was sweating right through my clothes and bed sheets to the point I was changing them 4 or 5 times a night. I kept asking the midwife about these strange symptoms, but they said it was probably because I was breastfeeding. I even saw my GP at the time, who told me my pain was because everything was stuck together. 11 days after Riley's birth, another midwife came to visit who noted my high temperature and blood pressure and sent me to A&E. I was now passing heavy blood clots and in agony, but was sent home with oral antibiotics. Later that evening, my temperature rocketed and I was taken into hospital in the ambulance. The next day, I insisted on further investigations, which revealed part of the placenta had been left behind, causing an infection. I then was told I needed surgery, but on the 3rd day in hospital, I was told that I wouldn't receive the surgery as my head wasn't falling off. I then eventually had the surgery later on that day after a nurse insisted on bringing a surgeon to see me. The nurse said, "Something is not right here." And within minutes, she brought a surgeon and I was being prepared for surgery and had surgery to remove the remaining products. I feel like that nurse saved my life. Please, any mother whom is going to have a baby, make sure you have an informed, responsible advocate to have around during your birth and after birth. So if you are unwell, this advocate can speak on your behalf. I have since battled crippling chronic pain and have needed repeated surgery. I have also suffered permanent nerve damage in my pelvis and legs. This has affected my bond with Riley in the first few years, as I spent so much time in and out of hospital and in and out of surgery. In the last few months, I've come to terms with the fact that I might not be pain-free, and that is best to focus on what I do and what I can do. So I'm learning ways to adapt to motherhood around being in pain every day. There were many times through my journey where I thought like I was the only one going through these battles. Like I felt like I was alone until I started to share my story online. I then connected with many families who had similar experiences to me, and this helped me so much. I created Beyond Strength to help other families similar to ours that may feel isolated, and to help them connect with other families whilst having their voices heard and valued. that's Shamika's story, and she created Beyond Strength after her experiences that I had just read. I know we keep saying this a lot of the, throughout this whole evening, but there are real people behind these statistics. And what we want to do is to continue to amplify these voices and support the women and birthing people and the partners that need it the most. Thank you so much, Shamika, for sharing your story with us. We now have a performance from Grace Voya, and then we will be going into the motherhood panel, which I will be leading with the baby Eden and the wonderful mothers who are Shamoy, Jennifer, and Jemima, who all have very different and varied experiences of maternity care and their outcomes. And so we'll be exploring that further. But yes, let's sit back and listen to the amazing sounds of Grace Voya.
You are strong, you are beautiful, and you are a hero. Oh, there's a hero. If you look inside your heart, you don't have to be afraid of what you are. And there's an answer when you reach into your soul, and the sorrow that you know will melt away. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. When you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see the truth, that a hero lies in you. Oh, it's a long road when you face the world alone. No one reaches out a hand for you to hold, and you can't find love if you search within yourself, and the emptiness you felt will disappear. Oh, and then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. And when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you finally see the truth, that a hero lies in you. Yeah. And then a hero comes along with the strength to carry on, and then you cast your fears aside, and you know you can survive. And you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and then you finally see the truth, that a hero lies in you. A hero lies in you. Yes, a hero lies in you, lies in you, lies in you. A hero lies in you.
Thank you so much to Grace. That was a very, very beautiful.
That was beautiful.
Beautiful piece. We just wanted to remind you of our fundraising, public fundraising bid. Enough is enough. We've heard stories from Sylvia, Delissa's mum. We've just heard Shamika's. We've heard Gabs' experience. We're about to hear some more mothers' experiences. And you know what? We want to put a stop to this. I feel like it's gone on for too long. Our voices haven't been heard. As we spoke to the panelists, the health professional panelists, it's just, I think the time is now, and your money will help us put a stop to this. What I said, I don't know if anybody here has actually watched the campaign video that went viral with the petition around the time of, I think it was May or June. And I said, if nothing gets done, will my daughter be 15, 10, 25 times more likely to die? Because this has been going on for decades and the number's been rising. I don't want to get emotional, but in 1991, my mother gave birth to me and she had a higher risk as a Black woman. We didn't know why, but we knew it existed. And over the years, you see the reports and the number, that figure is steadily rising. And in 2020, I've given birth to my daughter and I'm 5 times more likely to die during pregnancy and childbirth and afterwards. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting, and we have to put a stop to this, because if not, will my innocent daughter, just for the color of her skin, be more at risk when she wants to give birth to her children? It's not on. It's not on. So please, 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 the link to our Just Giving page is down below in the description. Please give where you're able to and share with everyone you know. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanuka. So we're going to go through more comments. So we've got Lauren who says, thank you, brave ladies, for sharing your experiences. She's talking about the mums who spoke about their pregnancy. Mummy Day Out, Rachel says, Gabby, you're so brave. Pre, you're also right, Gabby, we must speak up. Leah, very inspiring to see professionals and lived experience mothers coming together for change. Perinatal mental health services in Birmingham stands with you. Thank you, Leah B.
Thank you.
Lauren, I'm a midwife checking in from Atlanta. Ooh. And have been following you guys for a while now. Super impressed with what you are doing. Keep up the great work. Atlanta, wow. We got Yaga Fuzza, Mom Prize loves you. You guys are amazing, well done. Tamsin, 2 midwives from Homerton Hospital in Hackney here. Hard but vital virtual listening, sorry. We got Sure, amazing work, guys. Thank you. Jane, amazing campaign, so needed. Beautiful baby girl and great name. My son's called Eden also.
Beautiful name.
Yeah. Elia, I am hypnobirthing instructor in London town who gives free classes to BAME women who cannot financially afford them to help to try and change the statistics. Loving this event. So everyone, we've got Elia. If you find her in the comments, please get in touch with her. I've just given out free hypnobirthing lesson classes. Hey guys, loving all this. You should be so proud of this evening. Donating now. I'm also offering free support to Black families to help. Keep up the good fight. This is also hypnobirthing instructor Leah B, beautiful and powerful. And we've got Tessa who said, this is so great. Follow her on @HillarySpeak on Instagram. So this is all about Hillary.
Amazing. Thank you so much for the comments and the interaction. We really, we love it. We love it. So right now we're going to go into the motherhood panel and we're going to be speaking to some beautiful, amazing queens. They're mothers. They're beautiful. They have their stories to share and tell and experiences, a wealth of knowledge as service users who are at the other end of, you know, what we're talking about today.
Okay, let me pop out.
Okay, you would like to pop out? That's fine. So what I'm going to do is let the mothers introduce themselves. I just want to get clarification that everyone can see everyone on the panel. Yeah? Can you all see me? Amazing. That's perfect. Thank you so much. So we've got Jennifer, we've got Jemima, and we've got Shamoy. And you know what, I'm just gonna, just give a disclaimer as well. This is the motherhood panel. As I've got baby Eden, everyone else has got their children, possibly in the background. So please be mindful. So yeah. I'm going to start off with Shamoy because I can see her directly on my screen. Do you want to introduce yourself, your name, how many children you have, and anything else you want us to know about yourself?
Hi, my name's Shamoy. I have one child. She's 10 weeks old and I'm feeding her at the moment. Sorry.
Oh, amazing. No, that's fine. I get that multitasking. Well done. Well done.
And yeah, I write children's books in my spare time based on, like neglect, abuse, just empowering young people and children. And that's about it.
Yeah. Amazing. I love that. Thank you so much. Jennifer, can I go on to you?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name's Jennifer. I'm a mother to 4 children. I'm also the founder of a platform called Sisters in Business, where we empower Muslim women to build sustainable businesses.
Sounds amazing. Thank you. And Jemima.
Hello, good evening. I'm Jemima. I have 4 children.
Amazing, 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 amazing. So I'm aware that both Jemima and Shamoy have given birth roughly around the same time. So in the past couple of months, I would say, kind of similar to myself. I think Eden's a bit older. And I'll start off with Shamoy. You had a relatively positive experience, especially giving birth during the pandemic and everything else. Would you like to talk us through what was good about your experience and kind of, yeah, let us know a bit more about how it all happened?
Yeah, so the majority of it was positive. I think now that I'm learning more through 5 times more, there are some parts of it that I'm thinking, okay, maybe that should have been a bit different or a bit more positive. However, generally, overall, I felt like it was a positive experience. I initially wanted a home birth. And I was told that due to my BMI, I can't have a home birth. And then I thought the next best thing would have been a home from home birth centre instead of a labour ward. Oh, I should add that I was doing hypnobirthing. I did the Positive Birth Company digital pack. Amazing. So I was quite fixated on having either a home birth or birth centre birth. I was told by my midwife that I cannot have a birth at the birth centre or at home due to my BMI. I found Chloe or Prosperities on Instagram, and we had a few conversations, and she kind of gave me some information about what was happening at the hospital that I gave birth at, and also kind of how I can get my decision turned around. So she suggested that I speak to my consultant midwife and kind of just tell her like what I'm feeling and why I think I should have a home from home birth. I was able to do that, and my decision was turned around, which I was really pleased with. And I was actually able to give birth in a pool. And apparently I was the first lady to give birth in a pool during the pandemic because they closed the pool.
Wow.
So I was really privileged and I'm really happy with that. But yeah, generally it was a good experience. I think hypnobirthing really did help me. 5 times more and Prosperity really helped empower me to make my own decisions. So I wrote a birth plan. My partner, I was kind of out of it throughout the labour, but my partner was able to advocate for me because we both done the hypnobirthing together, and he was able to advocate for me and ensure that my birth plan went ahead because at first they weren't going to let me into the pool, and he was able to say, you know, this is what I want, blah, blah, blah. So I did give birth in the pool, but also I had a bit of issues at the beginning of my labour. So I was in labour for 36 hours. So within the first 24 hours, I approached the hospital on 2 occasions due to pain. I wasn't given any painkillers or any gas and air or anything like that initially. And obviously at first, they was telling me that I had to be 4 centimetres dilated in order for my partner to accompany me.
Right.
However, I was refused. I was checked once within 24 hours, and then I was refused a check. I think within the next 15 hours, they refused to check me. So I could feel in my body that there was a change and that I was definitely, you know, probably more dilated than before. However, they were not kind of listening to me. So I did explain to them that I didn't feel like I was being listened to, and I felt like I needed my partner with me, and I also needed someone to check to see how much centimeters I was dilated. And I think just that sentence saying, I don't feel like I'm being listened to, things completely changed after that, if I'm honest. And yeah, and I was given gas and air like almost straight away, like immediately. And they checked me and I was actually 6 centimeters dilated. My partner was able to join me. But one of the things that I was told after I gave birth, which is something one of the doctors I think mentioned, my midwife told me that my body done the typical black girl thing. And I was a bit confused. I didn't know what that meant. Sorry?
That's weird. What do you reckon she meant by that?
So she explained it. She said that our pelvis is different compared to other races, and that the baby's head could be quite high up at first and then just do a sudden drop, which is what they felt happened with me, hence my dilation.
And they called that the typical black girl thing?
Yeah, she said it on 2 occasions.
Professional said this to you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she did twice. So yeah, and I think now looking back in hindsight, I think I would have probably called her up on that or mentioned something, but I think I was just too, you know, I'd literally just given birth, I was overwhelmed. But yeah, that was my experience.
Okay, some positives, quite a few positives in there, but that whole typical black girl thing just really threw me off. And Jennifer, I saw you rolling your eyes, quite, you know. And my next question is to you. Obviously, I understand your background is you're an ex-midwife yourself, as well as having 4 kids, as well as being a Black Muslim woman. So I'd like to speak to you about your experience and, you know, going through the maternity system on both sides, what that's been like for you.
I mean, I always say that I'm not the typical patient because I do have my medical, you know, my medical knowledge on things.
Of course.
And it's different because I like to first of all go in with them not knowing my background at all, because I do feel like it plays a major part on how I am then treated. So for me, I've had 4 children, and across all 4 children, the oldest being 16 and the youngest being 2.5, my experiences have been very different. So when I was thinking about what birth story I was going to tell, I was like, I would tell the 4th birth story because it was my first time having a C-section. And I was absolutely terrified of having a C-section. Now, we see women go through C-sections all the time, but I just knew that being a Black Muslim woman having a C-section was completely different to a Black woman having a C-section or my white counterpart having a C-section.
Right.
So again, it brought up quite a lot of anxiety. It brought up a lot of, you know, questions, and even the questions I was asking them, they knew straight away that, there's something, she knows a lot more than what she knows.
Right.
Being on the other side of things and being within the whole maternity care, and I think for me, when I started advocating for Muslim women, it was when, you know, the practitioners couldn't tell the difference between a Black Muslim woman and an Asian Muslim woman.
Right.
That's where it started to throw up things for me. And again, I'm the, you know, don't want to say the typical, but I had gestational diabetes, you know, I've got PCOS, my BMI is high. On paper, you're high risk. But then when I go through my pregnancy pregnancy, I'm quite your low risk. So the way that they dealt with me even through that, again, just knowing how I would deal with my patient, so how I am being dealt with.
Yeah.
You know, it's different. And, you know, sometimes I do get name called and, you know, she's the angry Black Muslim woman, or, you know, that Muslim woman coming again, and they'll roll their eyes. And I'm just like, something that I've learned along my journey is just because you said so doesn't mean I have to believe it.
Right.
And something that I tell my patients all the time, just because I sit here with the uniform doesn't mean that I know what's best for you and your pregnancy. It's still very much a maternal instinct, whether it's your first or your fifth. It's still about you and how you feel.
Yeah.
So yeah, my experience has been completely different. But in saying that, you know, I've had good experiences. I've had bad experiences per se. You know, I've had very sick babies when they're born. They go into special care baby unit. But again, it's all about me being informed and me knowing what I want and how I want it.
Yeah.
That makes a difference for me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, completely agree. And I think one thing I'd like to pick out from that is, you know, the whole stereotype of having the high BMI, being the angry Black woman, that all of those things play a role, if you like, in how we are treated. So imagine being a Black woman, a Black Muslim woman. I can't even imagine the different layers of things you would have had to go through, and then having your experience at the back of that, you know, knowing that, okay, these people might be trying to, you know, I don't want to use the word mug me off, but these people might not be necessarily taking me seriously, but I know my stuff. You know, I can't even imagine, but yeah, wow. Thank you for sharing that. Must be, you know, you've got a wealth of experience there, which I'd like to explore in a bit. And also, Jemima, please, can I go on to you and let us know about your birthing experience that happened recently? I know it's not necessarily one that's as positive as Shamoy's, but I'd like you to kind of explain in your own words what happened to you, however you feel comfortable. There is no pressure to share everything. Of course, it's whatever you feel comfortable sharing.
Thank you very much, Monica. My experience was, so my daughter is just 5 weeks old now. And it started off, you know, positively. I felt like I was being listened to. I can't go into too much depth because it is going through like a legal process now. Because of the seriousness of the situation, which like most of the experiences what we're talking about today have been quite serious. I've decided to advocate for myself to make sure this doesn't happen again, and so I've decided to go through legal process. Okay. So throughout the pregnancy, with like the beginning of my initial care, it was obvious I was getting racially profiled. They had some ideas about where I should be living, and because of the amount of children I have, they had some ideas about my background, which was incorrect. And then leading up to the birth, I still wasn't being listened to. So that wasn't very helpful. And then basically, as I said, I can't go into too much depth, but I can talk about other experiences I've had where they were kind of similar, not being listened to. But with this one, I nearly actually lost my life. So I think, luckily this is the last child I'm ever going to have. Had this been my first child, this would have been my last child. It was so traumatic. So also with my first child, I realized then, oops, there goes she. I realized with my first pregnancy I had, and the first experience I had, is with the professionals not listening to me because I was young, because I was Black, and I lived in an area where there was actually quite a large mix of ethnicities. But I was told that I was told a lot with the midwives that, oh, you know, we know better, we know, you know, such and such. They kept informing me about my pregnancy, even though every pregnancy is different, as everybody knows. But with me, they kept comparing me to other people. Luckily, the situation with my daughter, my oldest daughter, it went well. I gave birth to a healthy baby, but I realised the importance of standing up for myself. But I was looked at as an angry Black girl. I had too much to say for myself, and I wasn't aware of the medical terms, and because they were the medical professionals, I had to listen to them, and I should really know my place. When I had my second child, I made sure I was really informed. I read books, I knew about my body, I understood about the different terminology they'd use, because it's slightly like code when they go into a room and they're talking, not to you, not at you, but they talk to other people who are in the room with them, and they're not talking, they're not direct with you. So I think that helped me with this last pregnancy, was to be able to stand up for myself and to know how I needed to be treated, how I wanted my pregnancy to go, and how I needed the birth to go. And then also just to be able to save my own life, because had I not made the emergency call, apparently when I got to theatre, they said I got there just in time.
Wow.
Even though I was told by professionals, oh no, I was talked down from how I felt the situation was going. So it was not a positive experience, this last one at all, unfortunately.
No, that's really unfortunate to hear. Just picking out what you said, that if your last experience was your first child, then that would have put you off.
Oh my goodness.
Again, and so heartbreaking to hear, because of course we speak to a lot of Black women, Black mothers, Black birthing people, and I hear that time and time again. People say, look, I'm done, I'm not giving birth anymore, because what I have experienced is so traumatic. What I have gone through has made me not want to have kids. What I have heard from other people has made me not want to have children. I am so scared of giving birth. And in the case of, people who have deeply been affected by the statistics, I know of people who have lost, their loved ones, and they're like, yeah, I'm not even going to go down the route of childbirth. Like, I'm just not even going to do it. So that's quite scary to hear, because what that kind of tells you is it's more than the 5 times more statistic. Do you kind of understand what I'm saying? It's more than Black women are 5 times more. It's actually, we've got poorer health outcomes. We're having poorer experiences, which is having these knock-on effects in every area of our lives. And this isn't something that just affects us as Black women. It affects everyone.
It affects the whole family as well, because actually leading up to the whole birth of my last daughter, my children and I had been following 5 times more, and I did have to tell them at some point in the spring that you have to pay attention to how you do this, how you do that. And I was telling them, actually, especially with the protests that had happened in June, in May, of the death of George Floyd, and that really had a knock-on effect for lots of things. And so informing your children about the statistics, and they didn't understand. And I said, unfortunately for males, you're more likely to go to prison, and for women, your maternal health is in decline, so you're more likely to die. And they're really shocked, they explain that to children is awful in this time in history.
What a strange time. Gosh, okay, so my next question is, in terms of our 6 recommendations, I'll quickly recap them in a second, but would you say, and Jennifer, obviously you'd be looking back maybe 2.5 years, or even up to 16 years, because your oldest is quite big now. Would you say that you used any during your labour, and has this helped you advocate for yourself? So our 6 steps, for anyone who doesn't know them or is new to our campaign, is number 1, speak up. If you feel like something isn't right, ask questions, and just speak up. The second one we have is someone's got it up for me, fantastic, because baby brain is real, okay? And the second one is find an advocate. So in what we say is have an advocate for you, someone who can't speak, who can speak on your behalf if you can't speak. Seek a second opinion. If you feel like you want to hear from another doctor or another midwife, or you're getting substandard care, you can actually ask for a request to change your midwife. People don't know that. A lot of people don't know that. We've got trust your gut feelings, and again, speak up. So trust your gut means, with Shamoy's case, she felt that switch. She was like, look, something isn't quite right here. Check me. Yeah, I feel like I'm not being listened to. Check me. And we checked that she was checked and she was 6 centimeters. So trust your gut, know your body, and if you feel like something isn't right, speak up. The 5th one is to make sure you do your research on pregnancy, labour and childbirth and what to expect via trusted websites. So we've got NHS, NICE and patient.info. And the 6th bonus step that we have recently added is to document everything. Make sure that anything that happens, whether you're given treatment, whether you're refused treatment or medication, anything, it's written down by your health professionals, anybody that is looking after you, and to go a step further and to take your own notes as well. So in light of knowing that, do you think any of you during your pregnancies and labours have benefited from taking that advice?
I would say definitely. When I look back in all my labours or my pregnancies, I have definitely trusted my gut.
Yeah.
And just knowing that if something doesn't sit right, then it definitely isn't right.
Yeah.
I feel that, you know, that a lot of us, sometimes we're afraid to speak up and we're afraid to trust our gut.
Yeah.
But that is like a superpower that we hold as a woman. When something doesn't sit right, then it isn't right. And it's something that I have, you know, advocated for many, many years, even whilst working within the maternity services, that, you know, that you speak up and ask questions, even if you don't feel like it, you still must ask some sort of question.
Yeah. Would anyone else like to answer really quickly?
Yeah, I think it was a positive. It did help me throughout my pregnancy and my labour, especially. However, in my early stages of labour, I was having heart palpitations and issues with my heart. Issues with my heart racing, and I was supposed to be given a 24-hour tape. I'm still waiting for that 24-hour tape. And when I did chase it up with the midwives, because I had several midwives because of COVID, there wasn't one specific, I was told that I was antagonizing them. So I think that me personally, sometimes I feel like I am afraid of being seen as that angry Black woman, because, you know, I'm trying to advocate for myself. But I think this campaign and, like I said, Prosperities has helped me to understand that. And like what Jennifer was saying, I'm not that. I'm advocating for myself. I need to make sure that I'm healthy and my baby's healthy. So I think that women shouldn't be afraid to speak out. And, you know, like we all said, if you have that gut feeling, go with it. Don't think that you're bugging them or, you know, you're worried about what they're going to think of you. Just speak up.
Amazing. I've got another question. What is, and this is for all 3 of you, what is the one thing you would like health professionals to take away from your experiences in terms of future treatment that they give to Black women? Because obviously our campaign, we have a lot of health professionals as well as mothers, but we have a lot of health professionals who look at our campaign and look at people's experiences and see, right, you know, the ones who are actively wanting to change anyways. How can I best serve the people that I'm treating and I'm looking after? So what would you say is the one thing from your experiences that you'd like health professionals to take away from this? And we can start off with Jemima.
I would aim this towards like female health professionals, mostly, because I think lots of the mistreatment I suffered actually came from a lot of the female health professionals, unfortunately. So I would really hope they treat women, the patients that they have, with dignity, because I think that's what's missed a lot of the time. We're just treated as statistics. We're not statistics, which is why we should advocate for ourselves, because we don't want to become. And I would just like them to treat us with dignity. It sounds really cliche about the sisterhood, but you know, they understand better than anybody else in the healthcare professional that women's bodies are a certain way, and especially in pregnancy, how emotional we feel, and they should treat us with respect, mostly.
Yeah. So 2 key things I took from that are dignity and respect, which I think is as a given, right?
It should be a given, but the fact that we have to advocate for it for so many years, you know, 30 years, you can talk about changes and things you want to implicate, but if you're not dealing with the basics, which seems...
Thank you. Jennifer?
I think the one thing that comes to my mind is compassion.
Right.
That there's a lot more compassion within midwives towards their patients. For some reason, there's a harshness that comes along with being a midwife, and when you're dealing with a patient, particularly when they're in labor.
Yeah.
And again, it's like, but you've been in my position before, you've given birth before, you understand the vulnerability that I'm in, you understand, that I need more than anything compassion.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get everything right. I'm not supposed to get anything right.
Yeah.
So passion for me is what is needed within everything.
Yeah. And I guess it's free to be kind. It doesn't cost you anything. So that's a very good point. And Shamoy?
I would say to listen to us a bit more. I think that, even though we will get things wrong, I think it wouldn't hurt to check us sometimes if we're saying that something's wrong or something's hurting. Just check it out, even if it's just to give us peace of mind, because it is an anxious time. I understand that, there's time restraints and everyone's busy and stuff, but it is our health and ultimately our life. So it would be nice to be listened to.
Amazing. So listen to us. Okay. I wish I could talk to you ladies forever, because I know we've just got so much to say, but unfortunately I'm going to have to wrap it up because of time. But I just wanted to say a massive thank you for coming on, sharing your experiences and allowing us a little bit into your lives. And I hope that people who are listening to this live or who will listen back to this take from what you are saying, because again, we are the service users, we're the people on the other side of the statistics, and we are here. We are here, and this is what we want, this is what we need. So thank you. Really, really appreciate that.
Thank you.
See you guys soon. Thank you. Okay, amazing. Health professionals, if you are watching, sorry. Hello.
Go on.
Health professionals, if you're watching, some things to take from that: be compassionate, to listen, to dignity and respect, very key words. So yeah, I guess whatever you can take from that, please do. But like I said, there are real people,
real stories,
real voices. We are here, and we're on the receiving end of this, and we're talking. We've been talking, but now everyone's listening, so we're talking even more. So yes, gosh, that was an amazing panel. Thank you so much to Jennifer, Shamoy, and Jemima once again. We are going to have a performance from Sadiq Music. We're almost finished, guys. Don't go yet. So we're going to have one performance, and we're going to come back and round off the evening. So thank you.
Black women in the UK are 5 times more likely to die in pregnancy and childbirth. My name is Philippa, and I work for Lead A. We are in support of all the work the 5 Times More campaign is doing to highlight and change the statistic and outcomes for black women. Please support them by taking your selfie, spreading the word of their 6 recommendations, and donating to their fundraising campaign. Thank you.
Black women in the UK are 5 times more likely to die in pregnancy and during childbirth.
My name's Indy McKay.
I'm Natalie DeVal.
Hi, I'm Karina White.
And we're from Dope Black Mums.
And I'm from Dope Black Mums.
We are in support of all the work the 5 Times More campaign is doing to highlight and change this statistic and the outcomes for black women.
We are in support of everything the 5 Times More campaign is doing to highlight and change this statistic and outcomes for black women.
Please support them by taking your selfie, spreading the word about their 6 recommendations, and donating to their fundraising campaign.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hello everyone, my name is Sadiq. I'm here because I'm in support of the 5 Times More campaign. This song is called Easy, and I'm dedicating it to all the beautiful, wonderful, strong black women out there. also want to use this to dedicate to all the lives that we've lost due to pregnancy and childbirth. You know, it's not easy. I really respect you women. Hats off to you guys. This is easy and I'm dedicating it to all of you guys. Here goes. Yeah. Going through the motions of the time. Season changes, don't fine. Crash on the road, but we always see the light on the other side. It's the only way to keep us shining on. We don't want to chill in the road. Now for us. Spread my wings to fly away. Behind me gliding through the night and day. Queen and Simba, we don't shoot, we pray. We play. Girl, I love you in the sun and rain. Loving you is easy. I don't need to force it, so easy. Loving you is easy. Like a Sunday morning, so easy. Yeah. I love it when you take it off on side. My body temperature on high. One kiss gets me on the rise. We gotta get it on tonight. Sad love songs, no we don't play. Negativity, no we don't say. Run away. I spread my wings to fly away. Behind me gliding through the night and day. Queen and Slim, but we don't shoot, we pray. We play. God, I love you in the sun and rain. No, loving you is easy. I don't need to force it, so easy. Loving you is easy. Like a Sunday morning, so easy. Yeah. Woo. So easy. Yeah. Woo. Yeah. So easy. Thank you so much.
Ow. Why have we been stopped? Oh. Okay, we're back. Hello, that was incredible. Thank you so much, Sadiq. Gosh, we're gonna round off the evening. What an amazing evening it's been. Sorry, Eden's here. What an amazing evening it's been. We want to thank every single person who has joined us from the start, who has joined in, come out, come in, come out. Thank you so much to everyone who's donated. So far, we have over £1,000. Wow, thank you. Like, that's amazing. I don't know how, well, I know how, but wow, you guys are really, really amazing. Thank you so much for that. We have a special thank you to the Positive Birth Company, our official sponsors for this event. We want to thank Anthony, our tech guy behind the scenes.
Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you. This couldn't have happened without you. Woo, woo. He's going woo, woo, in the comments here. Thank you so much to Gabrielle. I know she's tuning in. Thank you so much. Tessa and Nessa. The dream team helping us behind the scenes. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chloe.
Thank you, Tamika. Thank you, Eden.
Thank you, Eden.
Well behaved.
The start of the show. Thank you you so much. We couldn't have done this event without all of you guys, and we're just really appreciative of all the support. As soon as we mention, right, 5 times more, we need this, people are ready, on hand, they're ready to support. They're like, what do you need? Let me know, because this is important to them as it is to us. So we just want to say a massive, massive, massive thank you.
Also, thank you to Black Dope Mums who put in the video.
Yes.
Black Dope Dad, Donald put in the video as well.
Lide Law.
Oh, Lide Law. Yes, thank you, Lide Law. That was amazing.
David Harewood.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't know if you caught that celebrity moment there. We had Nutrition, Rhiannon. Oh my gosh, we had so many people. We had Ed Morris from RTOG. Gosh, we had Kate Brentworth.
Yes, the chief midwife of London.
Oh my gosh, amazing. We had Jill, didn't we?
Jill from RCM, Royal College of Midwives.
I can't even remember everyone, but
Birthright, Amy from Birthright.
Gosh, yes. Thank you so much.
MCG.
Yes.
Sorry, it was just
wow. Like your brain is better than mine. But God, what is next for 5 times more? So we still have the awareness week going on. Tomorrow's a day of rest because it's been 4 days of go
non-stop.
So we are encouraging people to rest. Indulge in one form of self-care because we need it. And on Monday, we are back with 5 steps for partners.
Yeah.
So that's very, very interesting. We're looking forward to that. And then Tuesday is the last day of the Awareness Week, where we are further sharing people's stories. We are asking people to send us in their experiences, either positive or negative. And we just want to continue again to help amplify that so we can learn and we can just hear from the seldom ever heard voices, hard to reach voices. So yeah, I know we say that in jest, but that's actually that's the reality. And yeah, we've got a lot of things in the pipeline. Black History Month will be amazing, so watch out for that. In a couple of weeks, we've got some important announcements to make and partnerships to announce as well. So that's great.
Yes.
The link to watch this replay is the same. So afterwards, you can share it, like it, let everyone know about it. And don't forget the Just Giving link as well. Please donate wherever you can and help us put an end to this statistic.
Yes, and I also have one more thing to say to all the mums out there. Please, if you can, join the MVP, which stands for the Maternity Voice Partnership. If you want your voices to be heard, please join your local Maternity Voice Partnership. It will enable you to make decisions in maternity services. They've got a national website, so I think it's the National Maternity Voice Partnership. I think it is. Your local hospital, every local hospital in the UK has a maternity voice partnership. So please, we need more Black women's voices, South Asian women's voices, mixed ethnicity women's voices, to make decisions and to co-produce services in your local area.
Amazing. Gosh, and that is it.
That's it.
That's the end of a 3-hour event. We did it. Thank you so much. I'm going to put this little one to bed. We are tired. This has been amazing, but we're going to keep going. And thank you so much to everyone that's joined. We love you all. And gosh, we will see you very, very soon.
See you on Monday.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.